Bidding an electrical job involves several key steps. Firstly, determine your overhead costs. These are the expenses you incur regardless of whether you're actively working on a project. They include rent or mortgage payments for your office or workshop, utility bills such as electricity, water, and internet, insurance premiums covering liability, workers' compensation, and vehicle insurance. Consider vehicle expenses like fuel, maintenance, and vehicle payments or leases. Don't forget administrative expenses such as office supplies, software subscriptions, and marketing costs. Summing up all these costs gives you your total overhead. Secondly, calculate your markup. This is the percentage you add to the direct costs of materials and labor to cover your overhead and generate profit. Industry averages for electrical contractors typically fall between 20 and 25%. To determine the right markup for you, consider your overhead costs, desired profit margin, and the competitive landscape in your area. A higher markup allows you to cover more overhead and increase profit, but it could also make your bids less competitive. Thirdly, estimate material costs. This involves creating a detailed list of all the materials needed for the job, including wire, conduit, boxes, devices, and any other necessary components. Obtain quotes from multiple suppliers to get the best prices. Factor in delivery charges and sales tax when calculating the total material cost. It's wise to include a contingency buffer of around 5 to 10% to account for unexpected price increases or additional materials that may be required. Fourthly, estimate labor costs. Accurately estimating the time required to complete the job is crucial. Break down the project into smaller tasks and estimate the hours needed for each task. Consider factors that could impact labor time, such as the complexity of the job, accessibility of the work area, and potential unexpected conditions. Multiply the estimated hours by your hourly labor rate, which should include wages, benefits, and payroll taxes. Fifthly, calculate your profit margin. This is the percentage of profit you aim to make on the job, expressed as a percentage of the total bid price. Set a reasonable margin based on your desired profitability, market conditions, and the level of risk involved in the project. Industry averages for profit margins on electrical jobs typically range from 10 to 15%. A higher profit margin increases your earnings, but it could also make your bids less competitive. Sixthly, focus on bid preparation. Your bid should include all relevant information, presented in a clear and professional manner. Include a detailed breakdown of material costs, labor costs, markup, profit margin, and the total bid price. Clearly state the scope of work, outlining exactly what is included and excluded in the bid. List any assumptions you've made and any potential exclusions or limitations. Provide an estimated completion date, taking into account potential delays or unforeseen circumstances. Provide a detailed breakdown of costs to demonstrate transparency and build trust with the customer. Seventhly, focus on presentation and negotiation. When presenting your bid, do so confidently and be prepared to answer any questions the customer may have. Explain your pricing structure and justify your costs. Be willing to negotiate, but don't undervalue your services or compromise on quality. If possible, obtain written confirmation of the contract terms, including the scope of work, price, payment schedule, and any other relevant details. Let's look at an example calculation. Suppose your estimated material cost for a job is $800. Your estimated labor cost is $1,040, based on 16 hours of work at a rate of $65 per hour. Your markup is 20% of the combined material and labor costs, which totals $1,840. Therefore, your markup is $368. Your profit margin is 10% of the total cost, including materials, labor, and markup, which totals $2,208. Therefore, your profit is $221. Your total bid price is the sum of the material cost, labor cost, markup, and profit, which equals $2,429. Consider offering a contingency budget to cover unforeseen expenses or changes to the scope of work. This can help to avoid disputes and maintain customer satisfaction. Provide a warranty for your work to increase customer confidence and demonstrate your commitment to quality. Stay informed about industry trends, best practices, and changes to electrical codes to improve your accuracy and competitiveness. Learn from your experiences and refine your bidding process over time. Keep track of your actual costs and compare them to your estimated costs to identify areas for improvement. Use project management software or spreadsheets to track your bids, costs, and profits. This will help you to make informed decisions and improve your profitability. When determining overhead costs, break down each expense into monthly or annual amounts. This will give you a clear picture of your total overhead burden. Consider using accounting software to track your income and expenses. This can help you to identify areas where you can reduce costs and improve your profitability. When calculating markup, consider the risks associated with the project. Higher risk projects may warrant a higher markup to compensate for the potential for cost overruns. When estimating material costs, factor in the cost of waste. Some materials, such as wire and conduit, may be cut to length and leave you with unused pieces. Be sure to account for this waste when ordering materials. When estimating labor costs, consider the experience and skill level of your workers. More experienced workers may be able to complete the job faster and with fewer errors, reducing your labor costs. When calculating profit margin, consider your desired income level. Your profit margin should be high enough to provide you with a comfortable income while still being competitive in the market. When preparing your bid, be sure to include all relevant information such as your company name, address, phone number, and license number. Also, include a clear description of the project, the scope of work, and the payment terms. When presenting your bid, be professional and courteous. Answer all of the customer's questions honestly and thoroughly. Be prepared to negotiate the price, but don't be afraid to walk away if the customer is not willing to pay a fair price for your services. Always get a signed contract before starting any work. The contract should clearly outline the scope of work, the price, the payment terms, and any other relevant details. Keep accurate records of all your expenses and income. This will help you to track your profitability and make informed decisions about your business. Consult with an accountant or financial advisor to get help with managing your finances. They can help you to develop a budget, track your expenses, and plan for taxes. Join a professional organization such as the Independent Electrical Contractors or the National Electrical Contractors Association. These organizations offer training, networking opportunities, and other resources to help you succeed in your business. Attend industry trade shows and conferences to learn about the latest products, technologies, and trends. This will help you to stay ahead of the competition and provide your customers with the best possible service. Read industry publications to stay informed about the latest news and developments in the electrical industry. This will help you to make informed decisions about your business. Network with other contractors, suppliers, and industry professionals. This can help you to find new customers, get advice, and learn about new opportunities. Continuously improve your skills and knowledge by taking continuing education courses, attending workshops, and reading industry publications. This will help you to stay up to date on the latest technologies and best practices. Provide excellent customer service by being responsive to your customers' needs, providing quality workmanship, and standing behind your work. This will help you to build a strong reputation and attract repeat business. By following these tips, you can improve your bidding process and increase your profitability. Remember to always be professional, honest, and ethical in your dealings with customers and suppliers. This will help you to build a successful and sustainable business. It is important to remember that bidding an electrical job is not just about pricing. It is also about building relationships with customers, providing quality workmanship, and standing behind your work. If you can do these things, you will be successful in the electrical contracting business. Don't be afraid to ask for help from other contractors or industry professionals. There are many experienced people who are willing to share their knowledge and expertise. By learning from others, you can avoid making costly mistakes and improve your bidding process. Finally, remember to always be learning and growing. The electrical industry is constantly evolving, so it is important to stay up to date on the latest technologies and best practices. By continuously improving your skills and knowledge, you can stay ahead of the competition and provide your customers with the best possible service. Consider the following as well. How detailed should the scope of work be? The scope of work should be as detailed as possible, leaving no room for ambiguity. It should clearly define what is included in the bid and what is not. This will help to avoid disputes with the customer later on. What about payment terms? The payment terms should be clearly stated in the contract. Common payment terms include a deposit upfront, progress payments throughout the project, and a final payment upon completion. The payment schedule should be tied to specific milestones to ensure that you are paid fairly for your work. How much insurance is needed? You should have adequate insurance coverage to protect your business from liability. This includes general liability insurance, workers' compensation insurance, and vehicle insurance. The amount of coverage you need will depend on the size and scope of your business. Should a lawyer review my contracts? It is always a good idea to have a lawyer review your contracts before you sign them. A lawyer can help you to understand the terms of the contract and ensure that it protects your interests. How long should I keep records? You should keep records of all your expenses and income for at least 3 years, or longer if required by law. These records will be needed for tax purposes and in case of an audit. What about permits and inspections? Make sure you obtain all necessary permits and inspections before starting any work. This will ensure that your work is up to code and that it is safe for the occupants of the building. What is prevailing wage? Prevailing wage is the hourly wage, usual benefits, and overtime paid to the majority of workers, laborers, and mechanics within a particular area. Prevailing wages are established by the Department of Labor and are often required on public works projects. Remember that this is general advice and it's essential to adapt these steps to your specific circumstances and local market conditions. Seeking guidance from experienced contractors, mentors, or business advisors can provide valuable insights tailored to your situation.